what I want to see out of the Lombax dimension. This is inspired by a thread I saw on Reddit. What should the Lombax dimension be like and what should it have? I'll break it down into some world building fundamentals. Luckily, we already have some ideas about the Lombax society, starting with culture, basically arts and institutions. The society we know has warriors, pilots, scouts, and machines. So, not a society based purely on one way of living, but multiple ways. Still clearly excel in tech and engineering. I don't think they should be religious. They should be a society that governs and puts their energy and efforts mostly into machines, and the architecture should be based around that fact. While they may not be completely focused on being warriors, there should be a type of warrior tribe. I would also hope for a group of scientists as well. How to best display this, in my opinion, I will go into in the end. Location. Now, Lombaxes are seemingly all across dimensions now, so they should be adopted to whatever dimension they're in. But there should be a dimension in which they all are trying to gather or report back to. A type of hub world. It can be in space or on land, but it needs to look advanced, with machinery all around. It should also look like a society built for furries. And by that I mean a climate that catmen you would think would enjoy living in. History. The Lombax history and struggle should be displayed perhaps in multiple dimensions, like you see a broken statue or historically important characters to the Lombaxes. They should keep logs to their war efforts like Lorbs and Rifts Apart. Such a good idea. Economy. No need to get complicated here, just have it as a type of society run on rare materials, raritanium, or salvage. And finally, one of the most important bits, technology and magic. Given the Lombax people, really the only ones that could stand up to the Cragmites, as well as invent dimensional travel, their tech should be well beyond what we have seen. I want to see unique vehicles, weapons, and armor out of this society. Maybe they have their own martial arts, so Ratchet can learn some new wrench melee moves. For magic, can be literal magic or not, but there should be something unique to Lombaxes. From what we know, Lombaxes are the only beings who don't have an alternate dimension counterpart. Or maybe they do. It's kind of a mess. But if so, they're special and should have something unique to them, like maybe the ability to fix anything or create things no one can. Something we notice Ratchet has done in games, perhaps. We'll end it with my overall thoughts on things we already know and how it can be implemented. And finally, story. I want to see expansions on what we already know, like the scientists that built the Dimensionator. Maybe they can be a group you interact with that gives you upgrades. Also, maybe they're responsible for creating the research centers. For warriors, Alistair was part of a research group, but he was also part of the Lombax Praetorian Guard. Not much is known other than they were elite warriors, but just with that, I can see a lot of potential. We know it has leadership, and you can add a hierarchy. Perhaps Ratchet can join and rise in the ranks by completing missions or partaking in the Lombax version of the arena. Hey, maybe the arena challenges are actually based on Lombax traditions. Maybe they have their own martial arts, so Ratchet can learn some new wrench melee moves. We see some Lombax architecture on Fastoon, so again, an expansion on that, as well as other styles of architecture that can be made up. Savannas and tropical rainforests and protection from it can be implemented going by if you believe Lombaxes are close to feline. We can also see more of the governance and learn more about the High Council of Lombaxes. Maybe they are corrupt, many of them or even just one of them. should at least have some secrets. We should also know more about what they do exactly. Now, I already talked about how they can implement a lot of this stuff in my open world video. You should check that out. Gives my thoughts on what they can do with gameplay overall. But as for story, the story needs two things above all else in my opinion. Answers and conflict. Answers to many things. Tales, tribes, what they were doing up until now. What do the females do? And is the society somewhat sexist because if they don't have tails, that means women aren't allowed to be on the research team. There are also, from what I can see, no female high council members. Maybe there is a Lombax species caste system of sorts. And if I was being a bit petty, I would give all the women rockin' busty bodies even bigger than Angela. Or whatever, they can do whatever they want. Maybe the women can be like artists, but that might actually be seen as sexist by a lot of people. But personally, I like the idea that Ratchet's mom would belong to a more art group as homage to Spyro, who is an artisan dragon. Or would that be too many parallels to Bardock and Goku's mother? Anyway, maybe explain why the Lombaxes have not been seen or come for Ratchet, learn more about Ratchet's own past and history, and finally, conflict. The conflict should be something like they are still in some type of war. If I were to come up with my own thing, my own beginning, Ratchet opens a portal to the dimension. There is a battle. He gets separated from Rivet, finds Lombax warriors, and works with them, till they eventually come back in contact with the faction leader, the Four-Bolt Magistrate, Angela Cross, and you find out she's been fighting in this war since she's gone, becoming a hero, although still a bit clumsy. That's how I see it going. But anyway, that's it. If you want to see or hear more about gameplay, I talk about it in another video. But tell me, what are your thoughts for the Lombax Society? Tell me in the comments, and please like, sub, hit the bell. Later.